The emergency alert said to lock all doors. But my front door was already chained from the outside. The harsh blare of the emergency tone jolted me awake at 2:47 a.m. I fumbled for my phone in the darkness, squinting at the bright screen. Emergency alert, unknown threat in your area. All residents must remain indoors. Lock all doors and windows immediately. Do not attempt to leave your home under any circumstances. Further instructions will follow. I sat up in bed, suddenly wide awake. The air felt different somehow, heavier, like the atmosphere before a storm. Outside my bedroom window, the street was unnaturally still. No cars, no distant sirens, not even the usual ambient glow of the city. Just darkness. My apartment was small, bedroom, bathroom, combined living room and kitchen. I lived alone, had for years, ever since the divorce. Living alone had never bothered me until now, until this moment when I desperately wanted another human presence. I switched on my bedside lamp, but nothing happened. The power was out. Using my phone's flashlight, I made my way to the kitchen to check the circuit breaker, but as I passed my living room window, I froze. Something was moving out there. Not on the street, but closer, on my fire escape. A shadow shifting against the greater darkness. I couldn't make out details, just a sense of mass and movement where there should be none. I backed away, heart pounding in my throat. The emergency alert hadn't specified what the threat was. Unknown threat, what did that even mean? Natural disaster? Chemical leak? Something worse? I checked my phone again. No service. The emergency alert must have been the last thing to come through before the cell networks went down. With shaking hands, I went to the front door, planning to at least make sure it was locked. That's when I saw it, the chain. My apartment door had a standard chain lock on the inside, but this was different. This was a heavy-duty chain wrapped around the door handle, fed through what looked like a metal loop that had been screwed into the doorframe, and secured with a padlock. From the outside, I stood there, staring stupidly at the chain. It hadn't been there when I went to bed. I was certain of that. I always double-checked my lock before sleeping, a habit from my city years. So either I was losing my mind, or someone had chained my door shut while I slept. Which meant someone had been inside my apartment. Cold sweat broke out across my body. I tried to steady my breathing as I gently tested the chain. It was solid, definitely real. The door opened maybe an inch before the chain went taut. Hello? I called through the gap, keeping my voice low. Is anyone there? Silence answered me. The hallway outside was pitch black. I tried to think logically. If someone wanted to hurt me, why chain me in? Why not just come through the door and do it? It didn't make sense. Unless they were trying to keep me in place. Until something else arrived. That thought sent me stumbling back from the door. I went to my bedroom window next. It opened onto the fire escape, the same fire escape where I'd seen movement. I hesitated, hand on the latch. If I opened it, would something be waiting? But I needed to know if I had a way out. I took a deep breath and threw the window open in one quick motion. Nothing lunged at me. But the fire escape wasn't there. I mean, it was still attached to the building. I could see the dark outline of it, but it had been altered. The metal platform was now enclosed in what looked like a cage of chains, welded together in a tight crosshatch pattern. Too narrow to slip through, too strong to break. The chains continued up and down, encasing the entire fire escape from the roof to the ground floor. My apartment was on the third floor. Too high to jump. I checked the bathroom window next, too small to fit through anyway, but it was similarly covered in chains. I was trapped. Panic began to rise in my chest, but I forced it down. Think. There had to be something I was missing. I went back to the front door and knelt to examine the padlock. Maybe I could pick it? I'd watched enough YouTube videos on lock picking to have a basic understanding, though I'd never actually tried it. As I leaned close to the gap, I caught a whiff of something foul, like rotting meat mixed with something chemical. I recoiled instinctively. That's when I heard it. A shuffling sound in the hallway, coming closer to my door. Slow, dragging footsteps. Then a soft thud against my door, like something heavy leaning against it. I backed away, not daring to breathe. A voice came from the other side, distorted, as if speaking through damaged vocal cords. Are you still in there, David? My blood turned to ice. That voice knew my name. Who are you? I managed to ask. What do you want? A low sound that might have been laughter. We want to help. The chains are for your protection. Protection from what? From the others. And from yourself. The voice paused. Don't you remember what happened, David? What are you talking about? Nothing happened. I went to bed, and then the emergency alert. Before that, what's the last thing you remember before going to bed? I opened my mouth to answer, then stopped. What had I done yesterday? I'd gone to work, come home, made dinner. Hadn't I? But trying to recall the specific details was like grasping at smoke. I don't. I'm not sure, I admitted, a new fear creeping in. Look at your hands, David. I glanced down at my hands, still illuminated by my phone's flashlight. They were covered in dark stains. Dried blood. Not just my hands, my clothes too, spattered with it. That's not mine, I said, voice rising. I didn't. I would remember if I. Check your bathroom, the voice suggested, almost gently. I didn't want to. God, I didn't want to. But I found myself moving toward the bathroom anyway, drawn by a terrible need to know. The bathroom door was closed. I never close the bathroom door when I'm alone in the apartment. I pushed it open. The smell hit me first, that same rotting, chemical stench, but stronger now. I raised my phone, its beam cutting through the darkness. The bathtub was filled with red. Not water-dyed red, thick, congealing blood. And floating in it, pieces. Human pieces. I recognized the tattoo on one severed arm. My ex-wife's butterfly. The one she'd gotten on our honeymoon. I stumbled back, a scream locked in my throat. This wasn't possible. I hadn't seen Sarah in over a year. We'd separated badly, yes, but I would never. The emergency alert wasn't for you, David, the voice from the hallway called. It was about you. My phone buzzed in my hand, making me jump. A new alert. Emergency update, threat contained. Specialized personnel are on site. Residents may observe unusual security measures. These are for your safety. Remain indoors. We know you're not in control when it happens, the voice continued. That's why we've contained you this way. The chains aren't to keep you in, they're to keep it in. It? I echoed, barely able to form words. The thing that comes out when you sleep. The thing that wears your skin. It's been doing this for months, David. We've been tracking the disappearances. Always on the night of the new moon. Always people connected to you. I shook my head violently. No, that's not, I would know. Would you? Can you account for where you were during those blackouts you've been having? The ones you've been too afraid to tell your doctor about? My legs gave out, and I sank to the floor. There had been blackouts. Times when I'd lost hours, sometimes entire nights. I'd wake up exhausted, with dirt under my fingernails, scratches on my body I couldn't explain. But I told myself it was stress, maybe sleepwalking. What's happening to me? I whispered. We don't know yet. But we're going to help you, David. The chains will hold until morning. Then we'll come for you. And if they don't hold? I asked, though I already knew the answer. Then God help us all, the voice said simply. I sat there in the dark, staring at my bloodstained hands, feeling something shifting beneath my skin, something waking up, scratching to get out. And for the first time, I found myself praying that those chains were strong enough to keep me in. Because the night was still young, and whatever lived inside me was getting hungry again.